Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here checking out Dragon Fin Soup, which just came out today, although by the time this video goes up it'll be yesterday, on PlayStation Plus. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I don't even know if I've actually said this in a video before, but I am actually a pretty big fan of roguelikes. And I'm not talking about games like Binding of Isaac or Faster Than Light or games like that. But I like them too. Don't get me wrong, I like them too. But I'm a fan of like classic roguelikes. I'm talking about games like Dungeon Crawl, Stone Soup, NetHack. I actually played the original Rogue for quite a long time. Brogue, games like that, you know, Cataclysm. And so when it comes to games like this, I tend to have really high standards. And Dragon Fin Soup does not meet those standards, but we'll get onto that in a moment. So we'll just head down and have a look at the options, just, you know, first off. And it's got all the basic stuff you expect, including log lines, which I don't really understand why you need too many of those, because especially since if you've got two pets following you around, those log lines will go away very, very fast. Also, I've noticed you've got code entry, which is a little strange. Like, cheat codes? Actual cheat codes? Like, I don't have any, like, on hand, and there's none in the manual or anything. So it's just, like, yeah, just enter a code, and apparently it just works if you have the right code, but oh well. So, it's also got read or die, which is actually quite nice, because it's like, hey, you want to read this or you will screw up. Also, this is basically the entire game manual in the game, which is quite nice. I saw somewhere that someone complained that the game doesn't have much of a tutorial. Everything you need to know is in here. Absolutely everything, which is kind of disappointing, because that means the game isn't extremely deep. But yes, the whole thing's in here. And by extremely deep, I mean the game's got a fair amount of systems and mechanics and all that, but at the same time, the handbook for NetHack is 150 pages. Like, I think that's 150 pages, but yeah, Dungeon Crawl I think is even longer. To have a 38-page manual that fits on a Vita is a little disappointing for a roguelike, but nevertheless. We have three different modes here, and we have Story Mode, Survival Mode, and Endless Labyrinth. Story Mode can be classic or hardcore, and of course hardcore, you die, you lose your save game. Survival Mode and Endless Labyrinth are on hardcore mode no matter what you do, so if you die, you lose your save game. Survival Mode and Endless Labyrinth also have high score tables. So, unfortunately, it says this is your offline score list. There's no online. There's no online scoreboard. I don't know why, but nevertheless. I guess it's because it'd be, like, not turn-based, luck-based. But, oh well. So, this is my survival mode. Now, survival mode is, like, it generates modes based on the story mode layouts, or at least what you'll see in the story mode layouts. And the idea is survive for as long as possible. And as you can see there, I don't survive very long. Like, 8 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. I've got a 20-minute game saved. And you've also got Labyrinth mode, which, instead of working off how many kills and how much gold and stuff you get in the survival mode, it works off how many tiles you uncover in the labyrinths. And the levels are very, very maze-like. Like, absolutely maze-like. So you just gotta last for as long as possible and uncover as many tiles as possible. I've got one with, like, 10,000 tiles uncovered at the moment. You just gotta learn to adjust to this sort of game. So, instead of checking out Survival Mode or Endless Labyrinth, because there's really no point to it, I might come back to them later, but at the same time, there's really no point considering the gameplay is exactly the same across all three. We're just gonna go hop into the story mode. Now, oddly enough, it only lets you have one save slot, despite this screen here, which makes it look like you can have way more than one save. And this is true with the other modes as well. Or at least, at the very least, I haven't tried because I haven't wanted to raise any of my save games, so if you press New Game, it'll tell you all your progress will be lost. So I don't understand why that is. Like, surely there's room for more than one save game. Or at least for the other two modes, whatever. We'll just load into Gendrapo, which is the name that the game randomly picked out for the world for me. It also serves as your seed. So you can, you know, get your friends together and do like a random seed based on the... You can pick a seed based on a name. You can enter your own seed as well. And funnily enough, it also has different seeds that come in like shit and such, which is really, really strange. But nevertheless, so I am this little girl here. I can't remember her name, but nevertheless, we've got a turn-based system here. So the whole game's on a grid, and you move along on the grid. We have a quest to go do, I believe. What was it? No. Okay, never mind. Let's go and get a quest, now I think about it. So if we go into this little hut here, we'll be able to talk to the quest giver. Did I have to talk to him, or did I have to talk to the guy who I killed all the things for? Oh, I know the quest complete, so I have to go back to the tavern anyway. The loading time here is really long for some reason. Hurry up, please. Come on. That looked bad. That's the longest loading time I've seen in the entire game so far. But anyway. So you talk to this character here and he gives you all your story. And all your quest rewards. But anyway, despite the fact that he says come back later, you can immediately talk to him again. I don't know why. But anyway. We have to watch a herd of sheep, so I imagine there's some sort of like, yeah, we now have to use the portal to leave the village. We can also walk around and find other side quests. And if we go back outside, we can go to the shops. The shops don't actually have that much of worth. I mean, there are some, like, pieces of equipment that might be worth 2 shits, but otherwise, it's not really worth it. Just scavenge all your stuff out in the field if you need it. Also of note, despite the fact that we're on classic mode, you will need to save regularly in order to make sure that you don't die horribly. So before we go out the portal, like see down the bottom there, those green dots on the minimap, those are just shops that we can go to, and that's our pet healer over on the side there. I like the sound of it's not an exact sound of an old floppy drive accessing, but I kind of like it despite the fact that it's completely out of tone with everything else in the game, but nevertheless. So before we go out, I think I'll talk about the menus. So we got our inventory, which is filling up rather fast actually. And we can sort our inventory out and we can go and sell... Actually, that's probably a good idea. We'll go and sell stuff to the merchants just while we're here because there's a plane going over and I hate that. So we can just go and sell stuff to the merchants and we can listen to more of the dialogue. The dialogue in this game is really generic, I think is the word I'm looking for. I'm not impressed with it at all. But nevertheless, this is our inventory. We can sell stuff from it. The game's got this weird system where you... Whoops. This game's got a weird system where you have to press triangle to sell all your random items and stuff in order to bring up this whole sub-menu to sell them off with. It's a little strange. I just discarded 40 bloody onions by accident. God. Oh, no, they're just down there. I'll just grab them. Notably, it does use coarse language, but admittedly, it's a lot better about it than any other particular game I can think of, but still. We can sell iron rod. Basically, there's a bunch of stuff we can buy and sell. The one thing I want to do is I want to buy some crafting recipes. So I want to buy the eggs. The interface is actually a bit of a pain in the ass, honestly, mainly because the text on it shows up to be really, really small. Especially on this screen here. Like, it's just... Look at that text up there. I can barely read that text, and I've got the display somewhat blown up on my bloody monitor. It's even harder to read on the Vita. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, now that we've bought some stuff, we can also have a look at equipment, and we have individual slots for fucking everything. So there's a lot of stats to be played around with, and there's also a bunch of stuff here. Like, I've got a fishing rod, but I haven't actually found any fishing holes yet. I've been playing for 4 fucking hours, so I don't understand. Like, I know my time says I've only been playing for about... an hour and 40 minutes, but I've played the other modes as well, and it's come to about 4 hours, and I still haven't seen any bloody fishing spots. So, if I see a fishing spot, I'll go and play it for the purpose of demonstration. You've also got skills, which you can learn magic spells for, and we've got crafting. Now, for crafting, we have recipes that we can find, and we can also just stick random items in there if we know the recipe. So, I bought a bunch of salt and a bunch of eggs. So we're going to put the salt and we're going to put the eggs in there. Where's the eggs? There's the eggs. We put the eggs in there and now we can make a boiled egg. And we make the boiled egg and we get crafting experience. And we can level up our crafting. And the higher level crafting we have, the less likely things are to fail. And the more... Well, we don't actually get access to recipes. We find them in the field, which is a little bit disappointing. I was hoping for something a little bit of thing. Also, I imagine getting through this recipe list would be pure torture after a while. Like 11 recipes, and I'm going to have trouble already. And there's 500 something of them in the bloody game. So yeah, you've got your pets, which have their own stats, and they follow you around and do attacks like that. They're quite nice, and they're very useful. And you can come down here and check your quests, and this is where you also go save. So we're going to go now, and we're going to... Oh yeah, by the way, don't attack anything in this town because you will get property damage. Although the funny thing is, I did just break a crate. They charged me 2 gold for it, and I found 85 gold in the crate. Good job, guys. Alright, so we're just going to save here just in case. And we're going to proceed out to the world map. This world map is a lot like Fallout 1's. You pick a location to go to, and you can get stopped halfway in between with a random encounter, but I've only run into 2 of them so far, and they're both exactly the same band of encounter. Well, except one was 4 enemies, and the other one was 2. It wasn't that big of a deal. So anyway, dragon fin soup. My nose just clogged up on itself for some bloody reason. Come on. Sorry. Anyway, here we go. Anytime now, please. Thank you. So here we are in Dragonfin Soup. Now we have to go and try and find the sheep herd. We can expand the minimap by using the select button. The L button will change what we're using on our health bar, and our spells and our items can go down there. So if we had any health potions, well, we do have a fair few health potions, but we can go down there to... Oh dear. For some reason, there's a bloody toilet in there. Hey, you. Bloody ghost, they always go invisible. Alright, let's see. Can I come down here? Right, so... Where are the bloody sheep? I'm trying to find the sheep so that they don't die before I end up getting to them. Where are they? The minimap says I should probably go this way. So, the game is a turn-based roguelike, and it does run on your typical sort of grid. Oh my god, that thing's huge. I'm just gonna knock down this tree and try and get around him. Nope, that ain't gonna help me much. Okay, so that's a forest troll, but we got rid of him real easily. So, as I said before, the game is a turn-based roguelike and it runs on a grid. There are things you can do to, for example, maximize damage of enemies, and oh my god. So there are things you can do to maximize your damage to enemies. So, for example, hit them from the back, you'll do double damage. And try not to have the same happen to you. Not entirely sure what the point of that was. They just trapped me in here for no bloody reason other than... I'm not even going to claim to know what that was about. There are traps like this. You must clear the area. What do I have to clear exactly? I do not understand. So, yeah, the game is turn-based. It's a little bit annoying, though. Oh. Okay, door's open. It is a little bit annoying to move around this world because you can actually move in diagonals to try and get behind enemies while the enemies can't actually move in diagonals, which is fairly useful. I just ran into a trap and it doesn't really make much of a difference. So, you end up trying to work your way around enemies because you have to press both diagonals at the same time to move around enemies and get behind them for things like critical hits. Unfortunately, it's really annoying to do this because you have to press both directional buttons at the same time, otherwise you won't be able to do it. Most other games usually let you do things along the lines of press a button to change to diagonal movements. How did this get here? They do let you press a button to change to purely diagonal movements. And you can't actually attack in diagonals either, which I found to be a real pain in the ass. Mainly because of the... Just mainly because of the idea that... I mean, why can I not attack in diagonals? Because it would be really useful to attack in diagonals, but you can only attack in... melee attacks can only be done in... Oh, these are all the sheep. Can only be done in 4 directions. You do have your shotgun, though, which is very useful on things like fleeing enemies and ranged enemies. So, bloody teleporters, I swear to Christ. You do have the shotgun, which you can use for ranged attacks and damage and all that. Oh, no, that's a... I just killed one of the fucking sheep. Hey, what are doing? Yes, game is very typo heavy. It's a little bit disappointing, actually. It feels like they didn't actually play through it to test it. Oh, traps, and there wasn't even anything in there. Well, there was gunpowder, but that's not going to help me out very much right now. So yeah, you end up having just... The combat system isn't really that satisfying, if you want me to be honest about it. It's... Honestly, a lot of the time it just feels like standing there and hitting X until you get most of your damage done. It is just slightly disappointing in that sense. Like, it doesn't feel like the strategy can really come into it because most of the enemies are capable of turning around really quickly. So you don't end up doing it as much as you would like. And most of the time it's either just stand there, tank the hits, and finish the game off, because in most roguelikes, they have this thing called... They have hunger. This thing called hunger, like you wouldn't know about it. They have hunger mechanics, which prevent you from staying in the same spot for too long in order to get your health back. But in this game, you don't really need to worry about that, because there's no hunger meter, so you can literally just stand in place and hit the R button a few hundred times. You can't hold it down to rest for long periods of time, so you end up just having to just stand there and press the R button and tap the top left corner of the touchscreen in order to actually get it done. It's a little bit disappointing, honestly. Now, we've actually got a switch puzzle here. I've got to look down on Vita screen because I can barely see what the switches are from here. Where the switches are from here, I should say. Now, that gravestone I passed earlier... My dog is being annoying now. That gravestone I passed earlier actually gave me the combination for the switch, but the problem is you can't actually, like, write this down anywhere, so you have to run back to it. And the problem is now I've gone and lost it. I'm honestly not paying that much attention. I don't feel fantastic. But, nevertheless... The bloody hell, that dog is loud. So, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, as I was saying, there was a bloody tombstone that I'd need to go find, but those just little switch puzzles there, you just fill them in and they give you a bonus. The explosion happens a lot, but nothing happens afterwards. It's a little disappointing, honestly. We just gotta try and defend the sheep. I haven't even seen these guys go for the sheep yet, they just attacked me. I could probably could have been better served by swerving around and getting that. But yeah, as I was saying, so you don't have the oncoming danger of hunger to keep you moving along and not standing in the one spot and healing. I mean, usually, like, you do lose health pretty quickly in this game, so potions and stuff would be quite useful. But at the same time, you're heavily discouraged from actually using the things, because if you drink the game's equivalent of health potions, which is actually several different kinds of rum, as you can see here, they actually give you a little bit of stuff on your meter on the right side there. Also, I accidentally managed to hit a bloody, what's the word I'm looking for? I managed to eat a pair of gloves. But yeah, as you can see on the right there, my death meter's gone up. If that goes up too high, I die. So, yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Also, my inventory is a bit full. That's also a bit of an issue. What can I do? You can craft things that'll help you out with this, and it does go down, like, over time, but... Wait, why can't I wear this? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, wait, I have to go to my equipment to put that on, don't I? It's annoying, like, I don't understand why inventory and equipment are two different screens. Like, why can't they just both be on the same screen? Alright, because it's exactly the same outfit. No wonder. Let's see. Can I put the sandals on? Are they worth anything to me? Apparently? I don't know. So, I'll just move along. I don't plan on playing this again. I'm not going to worry too much about my inventory management. Hi. The shepherd boy ran off. He just ran off with the butcher's daughter. Okay. Alright. So it's just the same deal as before. We just got to keep the sheep safe. But considering that I've now discovered 95% of the map, I can actually see where most of the enemies are coming from. So now I can just make my way out and just stay on the attack. And it'll probably end pretty well for me because this game isn't particularly hard. Also, yeah, it is kind of hard to tell what's going on most of the time. Like, even with this mini-map, it's kind of hard to see what exactly is going on. Oh my god, the sheep are dying. Bloody wolves, come here. Come on. You die now, please. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get any sort of nice strategic balance going here. Just the combat just doesn't remain that entertaining purely because it's not that strategic. It's just it's somewhat disappointing. Ow! You know what, bugger it. I'm just gonna shotgun you bastards. Boom. Come on, there we go. But yeah, as you can see, it's kind of fast, furious, a lot of noise and fury signifying nothing. It's... Oh god, the wolves. Yeah, the game itself just doesn't appear to be that hard. It's just mainly staying out of the way of the really big bastards. Also, of note, talking in this game is not a free action, so it's a little weird watching everything happen when you're just standing around talking to someone, nevertheless. Okay, we have 6 sheep left. Can't exactly tell where all the enemies are. Equipment. I could probably use a drink at the moment, why not? I love how I lose 512 magic points and then nothing happens because my mana doesn't go down or anything. Don't know what that's about. Let's just move along. Probably another wolf around here somewhere that I can't see on the mini-map. Thankfully, you can't actually attack these ladies. You can arrange yourself... You can face yourself in a different direction with the analog sticks, but... And weirdly enough, both analog sticks, not just the right one. It's... With the procedural... The majority of the game is procedurally generated. So... Most of these missions end up feeling really generic, and that's actually a pretty good way to describe this entire game, if you want me to be honest. The game is very generic. It's kind of surprising, but at the same time, not that surprising. It's just... Like, I've played this for 4 hours, and I've really not felt any variance in the combat at all. There are different characters you can unlock. Actually, now that I mention it, this would probably be a good time to pop out and check out another one of those characters who has some magic spells. I might as well go start a game on survival mode or something. Survival mode. We'll make a new game, because screw it, why not? Again, I don't plan on playing this again, so I do have a second character who I have no idea how I unlocked. The Harry Star, that sounds like a anus joke. Nevertheless, there are characters you can unlock, and I imagine they do have different sets of abilities that would vary the gameplay up somewhat. Like this chick here starts out relatively weak and is mainly focused around backstabs. So you need to just keep continuously circling around the back, but this entire game feels really generic. It doesn't have anything in particular going for it that would make it particularly interesting. Like, Huh? Music stopped. This is happening a lot. How many games have had crash on me? What's going on? Bugger me. Back in a sec. Alright, I'm back. That was annoying as hell, but nevertheless. So, as I was saying, the game is relatively generic. It doesn't do anything particularly special. Like, the combat is average. I mean, circling around behind people and hitting them isn't too bad of a strategy to have in terms of, you know, ways to make your combat work, but it just doesn't remain engaging for very long. Like, I've been playing this for about 4 hours today, and it doesn't really help. The game's graphical style and art style and all that, like, I don't even know what that ability does. But the game's graphical and art style and all that are somewhat nice to look at, but they do make it hard to tell exactly what the hell's going on. So yeah, as you can see, I can't really circle around behind them because fucking hell, these guys are assholes. It's hard to circle around behind them because they just immediately turn to face you, so it's like there's really no point in trying to get behind them. And here's the score screen for the survival mode, by the way. So yeah, as you can see, she just has a spell and bombs and all that. We'll just leave it as Grim. I don't know why it's Grim. That's not her name. Also, you can only put 8 characters in on the scoreboard, which is really strange. Like, I thought that was a limit we got rid of years ago. Endless Labyrinth, I'll just hit continue, because survival mode is just the same sort of levels you get on the story mode. Now, the Labyrinth mode is a little bit different. When it decides it wants to load. So here we are. We're in Pinkywood Forest, and we've only uncovered 3,300 tiles, not like 10,000, but whatever. So yeah, I just leveled up, so you just get random stats, and the majority of stats seem to want to come from your spells and your weapons. Also, there's your little tree collapsing mechanic, which is kind of cool, but not enough to carry the combat forward on its own. The game's also getting relatively laggy at this point, so your inputs feel all lagged down and all that. It's just... The game's performance isn't really that great, and as I said before, the UI is quite a bit of a pain in the ass, because all the text is really small, And it can be kind of hard to tell, like, what direction enemies are facing, so you can get behind them or stuff like that. I just got another big bad pet. That's a really weird thing to find. Especially since I've already got one of them. Pets in this game are actually pretty OP, so you always want to have a couple of pets out if you can. I'm currently level 11, so I could do to equip these. Yep. Alright, we're good. But the game says it's got a lot of mini games and stuff, but I haven't even found any fishing spots to try that little thing out with yet. Alright, this is a boss enemy. They haven't seen me yet, because the game does have a sort of stealth system where as long as you don't get in front of them, they won't see you. So I can actually pull out one of my spell. What spell is this? It's the wind shield. Not worth it. But yeah, as you can see, I can just beat the absolute bejesus out of this guy. Actually, I'm not doing so well. I'm dead. Oh well. I probably shouldn't have done that. That was a bit dumb. But nevertheless, okay, I'll start one more game in the labyrinth. Doesn't actually look like that much like a labyrinth level. Like the first level is like just an actual maze. But let's retry with a random seed just to end off this video with. I'm just not impressed with it, honestly. It's got a couple of tiny cool things like the collapsing trees and the alcohol potions, despite the fact that you really have no reason to use them unless you're in real danger. It's just, I'm not honestly that impressed with it. It's just average. There's nothing really that special about it. And I'd pick up a version of Dungeon Crawl or Brogue or NetHack on the Vita over this one any day. Because there's just not that much interesting about it. You got a decent crafting system, a decent combat system, a somewhat shoddy port, and just everything else is just bog standard. And they try to give you this story to try and make it sound special, or try and make everything you're doing special, but also I hate how the game tends to queue your X presses, because I'm basically just gonna be standing here beating the shit out of this thing until it dies. But at the same time, just queuing it when you want to try and run away isn't, yeah, it's just pain. The game is just thoroughly average and doesn't really do anything that special. I mean, it's free on PlayStation Plus, so you might as well give it a go, but at the same time, I'm not really that impressed with it. So, that's pretty much my whole opinion on it. Not great. I'm dead. Shit, never mind. Probably should have backed off and healed up a bit first, but whatever. I know I suck at these games, and I wasn't really paying that much attention, but yeah, I'm still not that impressed. It's just it's all a bit dull, and nothing that amazing. That was a look at Dragon Fin Soup. You might as well take a look at it if you can get it for free on PlayStation Plus, but it's probably not worth the 20 bucks they're asking for most people. One of these days we should make a bloody petition, since everybody thinks those things work so well. We make a bloody petition to get some of the open source dungeon crawlers on the Vita, like NetHack, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, maybe that version, like Vulture's Eye, what was it? That NetHack isometric version of the game, but yeah. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.